Music theory is the study of theoretical elements of music, including sound and pitch, rhythm, melody, harmony, and notation. Essentially, when you're studying music theory, you are studying the language of music. People who study music theory are interested in more than just the song or piece as a whole. What chords are being used? Which are the best harmonies to use with this melody? How does rhythm affect the mood of the piece? All of those questions are answered by studying music theory. It's important to understand music theory because without it, playing music well would be hard. In order to understand music theory, you have to know the terminology behind it. So let's start with some of the basic stuff. This is called a music staff. It consists of 5 lines with 4 spaces between the lines. To indicate the end of the bar, you would place a single bar line at the end of the bar like this. To indicate the end of the song, you would place a double bar line at the end of the staff like this. The bar line on the staff help classify the measures, and each measure holds a specific number of beats. To determine the number of beats in each measure, you need to figure out the time signature. The time signature looks something like this. The number at the top represents how many beats are in a bar, and the number at the bottom represents the note value for each beat. Don't worry if you don't understand this yet. I will go over this more in a later lesson. So now that you know what the staff is, and you can figure out what the time signature is, let's go back and look at the lines and spaces some more. Each line and space on the staff represents a specific pitch. The pitch is the note that you would sing or play. When you're referring to hearing a specific note, it is referred to as the tone. Sometimes you will hear musicians and conductors use these terms when describing what or how they want you to play or sing. For example, you may hear a conductor tell you to watch your pitch while playing. They don't literally mean to watch the notes that you're playing, but more of to pay attention to the pitch you're playing because you may be playing it too sharp or too flat. Don't worry if you don't know what sharp or flat is yet, because I will explain that in a later lesson. Another example of a phrase you might hear is the tone needs to be full. It doesn't literally mean that the tone needs to be full. What they mean is that they want to hear that note at the full capacity that you can play while still sounding good. In order to determine what note or pitch you're playing or reading, you have to determine which clef you're reading in. The 2 common clefs that we will be discussing is the treble clef and the bass clef. The treble clef goes across all of the lines with the hook at the bottom. This is fairly simple to remember. In treble clef, the lines read E, G, B, D, F. A good phrase to help remember the lines in treble clef is every good boy does fine. E, G, B, D, F. The spaces in the treble clef read F, A, C, E. A good way to remember the spaces in treble clef is to remember the word face, F-A-C-E. In the bass clef, the F line will always be between the 2 dots. In the bass clef, the lines read as follows: G, B, E, F, A. A good phrase to help remember the lines in bass clef is great big dogs frighten Albert. G, B, D, F, A. The spaces in the bass clef read A, C, E, G. A good phrase to help remember the spaces in bass clef is to remember the phrase all cows eat grass. A, C, E, G. If you want to practice what you just learned, check out my next video, Music Theory Lesson 1 Practice. In that video, I give you some tips on practicing and retaining the information from Lesson 1. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in learning how to play the flute, go check out my flute video lessons. Thanks for watching.